This is part 2 of a video response to a Getting to Know You tag from Martina Huppertova. The question about the oldest piece of art that you made that is still around triggered a memory of a dandelion painting and a chat about keeping and gifting your art. Well, okay, that really was not a question on the list, but it must be important because I talk about it. Then I chat about the waste of money on craft items, or a craft item that was your biggest waste of money, art supplies that were the best bargain, and the best and worst storage ideas. Well, that brings me to the end of question 7. Enjoy! Tagged Chat Part 2. Since I have to make this video, I'm going to go off on rabbit trails. If I have to show my face and tell stories, I'm going to chatter as long as I want. You can turn it off anytime you like. I want to go into giving your art away and gifting your art. And I have gifted, I participate in a lot of swaps. When I make art for swaps, it's different than when I make something and give it away. When I make something for swaps, generally I'm in an art group. I kind of have an idea of the theme of the swap and the way they want the art to go. But in the past, I've made art. I've done paintings, and an example of this is a painting of dandelions that I did when I was in high school. And I just thoroughly enjoyed doing that painting of dandelions. It must have been in the summer, and I caught it, if you know what I mean. I was in the zone, and I really liked that. It was really good, and so good that my college colleague liked it too, and she expressed a desire to own it. So, you know, me saying, oh, you know, I can make another one, you can have this one, and I gave it to her. Well, she, of course, graduated, moved off, got married, had kids, have grandchildren now. I always wondered what happened to my dandelions. So I wish that I did not have the capability back then to make a copy of it or even take a picture. I was a struggling art student, struggling college student. So I didn't even own a camera, a good one. I had one of those little Instamatic 400s, but you know, I didn't think about taking a picture of my art. And so I wish I would have known what happened to it. I imagine as she moved on in her life, which is to be expected, it either got thrown out or given away, given to Goodwill. Sometimes you have to send your art off on its own journey. I would love to have that piece in my life today. You know, as much as I love my friend, I still love her. I know where she lives. I could ask her, but I'm not about to. As much as I love her, I wish that I would have kept that art piece in my own possession. So sometimes, to be honest with you, it pays to be selfish. Not totally selfish, greedy, that type of thing. But sometimes when you really enjoy something that you make and it speaks to you and the art speaks to you, I think that you should keep that piece and not give it away. I wouldn't say I was giving it away under obligation, but I just wish now that I would have kept it. So think about when you give art pieces away, and the same way with needlework. I've done a lot of needlework, and think about where these pieces are going to go. Generally, when I give away my needlework now, I give it away to other people that do needlework in swaps. So they know how much work goes into it. They know what it takes to sit down and make all those tiny, tiny stitches for hours and hours and hours. And so they respect that, and they'll see that it has a good home. Don't have as much problem with that. But every now and then, I'll make something or I'll design something that stays with me. And I'm not ashamed to say that I'm totally selfish about it. Not promoting selfishness, but promoting a sense of ownership, a sense of enjoying your own craft, enjoying your own art. So that's my little rabbit trail for that question. Are you enjoying this? The fourth question was, what craft item did you buy that was a waste of money? And I have to be completely honest with you that I don't think craft items of any kind, even if they do not meet our expectations, are a waste of money. I have purchased craft items that I've been very disappointed in. They did not perform as I expected. One of them being, and this company is still in business, so I'm not going to smear their name, but I bought some paint daubers, and these paint daubers were well sealed with the plastic around the top, and I must have bought six or seven different colors. And when you pay, let's just say I paid $6 a piece for a paint dauber. You take that times 7, that's $42. I got those paint daubers home. I opened them up, and every one of them was dry. I mean, it was dry. It wasn't just add a little water in here and reactivate the pigment. The paint was starting to solidify. I was very, very disappointed. And yes, I could have taken them back to the store, and the store probably would have refunded it, but I probably even threw the receipt away. I very seldom keep my receipts because once I buy something, I don't want to see the receipt anymore, but I'm learning my lesson there. But I was to put it bluntly, I was very disappointed. I felt like those paints are manufactured in such a way that there could be something added to them where they would not dry out. Or there should be a use by date on the bottle so that you could look at that date and say, if this paint is not used by such and such a date, then you run the risk of the paint being dry when you open the bottle. And you buy it at your risk, and obviously either the store owner should return it to the manufacturer or they should sell it at a discount. So I felt very cheated. I still have those paint bottles. I still have the paint, and it's probably even more dry. And this is why I'm saying that I don't think it was a total waste of my money, because I think that I can scrape out what's in there and maybe add some glycerin and at least get some color out of it. But it's never going to flow smooth like you would expect a paint dauber to paint. So I will probably, if that doesn't work, I'll probably empty out the entire bottle, wash out the cap, and fill it with my own paint. So it's not a total waste, but I felt like it was waste of the value of the money that I paid for them. Next question is number 5. A crafting item that was the best bargain. I feel like I've been fortunate to find a lot of bargains, and sometimes bargains to the hurt or the demise of somebody else, such as the recent liquidation of Archiver's Memory Craft Store, their scrapbooking store. Here recently, in the last few months, that entire store closed business and they went through liquidation. And of course, it was first 25% off, then 45% off, 60% off, 75% off. We've had, in the years that I've lived up here I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, I think that we've seen at least 4 scrapbooking stores go out of business. Such a shame, such a shame. And yes, as consumers, we can go to their liquidation sales and get some really good bargains at 75% off and enjoy it. I mean, if you don't buy it, somebody else is going to, so you might as well go and buy what you can. But it's just so sad that somebody else has to go out of business for you to get a good bargain. But I do always watch the bargain aisles at the stores. I do shop there, and I can't tell you the best bargain I ever got, but I'll tell you the most recent one, and the one I'm having the most fun with recently is this gold you see me using it in my wallpaper journal and in my scrap paint stained glass journal, is this gold screen printing ink. I am thoroughly in love with this gold metallic. It is just beyond all expectation. The bottle is probably about, well, you've seen me use it in my video. It's probably about 3-inch diameter and maybe 2 or 3 inches high, and maybe what I would say about 10 or 12 ounces of paint in there. The retail price was $10. I got it for $4, so that means I saved $6. And this paint, I just love it. I just love it. I'll be buying more of it. I think stores should offer more of these type of things. Maybe sneak them into their clearance aisle if they see something isn't selling. Maybe the consumers are not familiar with it. And I just picked it up and said, oh, I'll try it. We'll see how it works in my art journal. So that is the most recent best bargain that I got. The next question, number 6, is your best storage idea. Has to be my box 19. And all these are little kit boxes. I was going to teach some needlework classes, and I bought these at a school supply store. I don't think this particular Highsmith, they're still online. They're a school supply store. They're called Highsmith, Highsmith. I know that they offer craft boxes, but I don't think they offer this particular brand. You may be able to get something like it, but they look something like a pizza box. And in fact, you could probably get a pizza box as a good substitute, one that isn't greasy. Or get one that's greasy and clean it up and paint it up. Anyway, my box 19 is probably the best storage idea for me. I wish that these boxes, if I could make them even better, I would make them transparent so that I could see what was in them. I have labeled them. I've numbered them I think I have 24 or 25 of them. And I've labeled them and I've inventoried them and I write down everything that's in there. If I want something, I have to read through the entire inventory list. So if I could make these boxes better, I would make them transparent. I'm happy with the size of them. They will hold 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. They're probably about 3 inches deep. I'm happy with them, but I would make them a strong plastic. But then I'd probably have to pay more for them, and I probably wouldn't have bought them. Your worst storage idea. For me, for my mobile lifestyle that I've had in my past, I'm a little bit more settled now. Heavy furniture is not a good idea. I love big old armoires, but they're heavy. I cannot move them. My best storage ideas are probably those wire racks that you can take apart. You have those little square cubicles. I really wish that those two, I wish I could configure them to where they're not just square 1 or 1/2 foot cubicles. I wish that I can configure those square racks so they may be a little bit deep, a little bit wider, or a little bit deeper, and still be able to either wire shelves in or use those little round end sets that they have to hold them together. So worst storage idea for me probably was an entertainment center, a beautiful, beautiful oak entertainment center that I saw off on the curb to give away. I stopped and I knocked at the door and I asked the man about it, and he said that he was getting rid of it. They got new furniture, and I asked him if he could help me move it down, and he told me that he would put wheels on it if I would go to the hardware store and buy wheels. So off I trekked to the hardware store to buy these wheels, and he put them on, and he lived maybe 2 blocks from me. And I was waiting for him to bring it down, and pretty soon I heard this commotion coming down the street, and here this my neighbor man, I call him a neighbor man, although I really did not know him that personally, but he was rolling that storage center down the street to my duplex. And him and my neighbor man actually got that big old heavy armoire entertainment center from the street into where I wanted it in my duplex. And I loved it. I stored art supplies in there, and I used it for the entire time that I lived in that duplex, but it sat right where they put it. Even though it had wheels and I could push it out to sweep behind it and, to clean around it, that was okay. But I could not, when I got time to move, I could not move that thing myself. I had to give it help to move it. So worst storage ideas for me are heavy furniture. Part 3 will begin with question 8 and will be uploaded in the next video. Look and listen at your very own leisure.